matching faces. So we're going to do 2 figures. We'll start off sort of getting just the bare bones basically of it, put a bit of meat onto it, and then shape it up into more of an actual person rather than just a robotic looking thing. So we're going to do it man first and then a woman, so similar procedure for both. So start off just with, we're going to create a rectangle. So decide how big you want your head, and then that's going to determine the length of the body. So we want 7 sections, so just repeat that down so that we have got 7, 4, 5, 6, 7 rectangles, or divided our big rectangle up into 7 similar sized boxes. So that will help us to get the position of the limbs. So we start off with our circle for our head. Don't take it right to the end of the first one because we'll need a bit of neck. And then we're going to draw the shoulders, which we will as a trapezoid going into that second section. Come down to the third section, and at the top of that we'll draw a triangle to represent the hips. Then from that take a line at each side, that's where the hips are, and then take a line down to the bottom of your 5th box, that's where the knees will be, and then a line down to where the feet will be. I'll put the spine in. Then the arms coming out from the shoulder, so about halfway down the 3rd box, that's where the elbow will be, and coming down to where the hand will be, which will be about halfway down the thigh. If you think of where your hand falls, it's about halfway down your thigh. So that's the very sort of basic proportions that we can use. So we're now,
do the feet come out the bottom of the box then?
well, they can do. You can make them a bit bigger. They could be sort of more here. So we're then going to create that to look a little bit more human-like. So just oval up the face a little bit, put a neck in, and then this is the man we're going to do first. So we want nice big sort of round muscular shoulders. If you want to make it a bit wider, you can. We then come down to that's where the elbow will be. We then come down, that's where the wrist will be, and then the hands will be here. So we've got the torso at the top, coming down to the hips, and then from here we have curved lines to suggest coming down to the knees, and then coming down to the ankles. So we've got the sort of right position for the elbows and the knees and the chest and so on. So it still looks like it's made of tubes. So we're now going to make it a bit more human or cartoon style. So shoulders nice and big, nice sort of muscular arms, so we can keep that quite curved, quite nice big arms. Down to the elbow, the forearm, and the hands. Again, round those biceps out, down to the forearms and the hands. So we've got a nice pecs, and down to the narrow waist. We'll give him a pair of shorts. So again, nice big muscular thighs coming up to the knees, down to the knees, and then calves so they come out a little bit. And then we've got the...
So you'll do shorts rather than Mandels and pants.
Mine's going in Mandels and pants. You can't see my knobby knees. That's what we're doing.
we can put his face on. Probably make it a bit mean. His ears. So once again, if we take our pen and just clean up some of these lines, make them collarbone in. Again, quite nice shoulders coming down to the forearms. The hands, same on the other side. Try and get them quite symmetrical. Waist, shorts on, and then a couple of lines to suggest the knees, and out slightly to suggest the calves as well, so we've got a bit of space between the legs. There's a bigger gap there than when we do the female version. And then we can add a bit of hatching as well, going with a smaller pen. Now we've got hopefully a bit of shadow we can add. So I'll put it on the left hand side. Should be, the head should be about 7 times the height. side. So we can do her as big, or if we want to make her a bit smaller, we can do. How are they looking? You're going straight into
Well, I just don't want to rush it. You know what I'm like.
Yeah, that looks great. Yes, got the proportions there. Oh yes.
No, yes, and I don't know. How have I ended up with those?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I put this.
Looks fine. Yeah. I'm doing that. Oh, yes, looks nice. Young boy, bit vacant though. There's not a lot going on in this bed. Yeah. Those look very good. So we're going to do the same, exactly the same. Start off with the skeleton. So again, the head, come down, perhaps do this slightly, not quite as wide this time, but the triangle for the hips wants to be a little bit wider. And if you don't want to make it quite as tall, just bring the knees a little bit up from that line where we put the guy's knees on, and then she can finish about there, so it's a bit smaller. Arms again, elbows be in the same position, hands will be halfway down the thighs. Got her spine in. So we've got the basics of her blocked in. We then add a bit of thickness to these lines, so the arms not as thick and not as muscular, obviously. We need to put the breasts in, depending what size, but a nice narrow waist, but then coming out to wider hips. And the legs, between the legs we want those a little bit closer together, there's not such a gap. Knees, and then moved her leg over a little bit. Once we've got her sort of sketched in again, we can go in with our pen. So not so muscular, so we don't want so much sort of narrower on the shoulders. Let's give her a face. Some hair as well. Supposed to be a ponytail, a bit of a messy ponytail. So collarbone again, so not so broad on the shoulders and not so muscular on the arms. it's quite a useful way to just help you to get the proportions of people, and also you can, you know, put them into different positions and build up the skeleton, and then thicken it out with the meat, and then just finish it off with a bit of shading.